Good morning, School of Light Live. I'm Sifrino Beta for those who have tuned in for the first time, and I'm representing School of Light, a nonprofit correspondence Bible study system. It's free of charge, always for the students. You just let us know that you request to have a study sent to you. We send it. You complete it. You send the answers back. We grade it. We make record of it. And then we send you another one. Whenever you complete a series, we send you a certificate of completion, enough certificates of completion on certain classes that eventually will yield college credits. But the main thing is that you get God's word in our heart and our mind. I'm in Numbers chapter 11, and it's titled in my Bible, Fire from the Lord. Let's hop right to it. Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. The rabble with them began to crave other food. And again the Israelites started wailing and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remembered the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost, also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna." Dramatic, right? The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it in a mortar. They cooked it in a pot or made it into cakes, and it tasted something made with olive oil. When the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. Moses heard the people of every family wailing, each at the entrance to his tent, wailing. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these peoples on me? Did I conceive all these people? In other words, am I their dad? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised on oath to your forefathers? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, 'Give us meat to eat.' I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. This is how you are going to treat me. If this is how you're going to treat me, put me to death right now. And if I found favor in your eyes, do not let me face my own ruin." The Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders, who are known to you as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting that they might stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take of the Spirit that is on you and put the Spirit on them. They will help you carry the burden of the people so that you will not have to carry it alone. Tell the people, consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow when you will eat meat. The Lord heard you when you wailed. If only we had meat to eat. We were better off in Egypt. Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it. You will not eat it just for 1 day or 2 days or 5 or 10 or 20 days, but for a whole month until it comes out of your nostrils. And then you begin to loathe it, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and have wailed before him, saying, 'Why did we ever leave Egypt?' Be content. Don't ask for something you don't need." It's what I wrote down as a note a long time ago. Why did we ever leave Egypt? But Moses said, "Here, I am among 600,000 men on foot, and you say, 'I will give them meat to eat for a whole month.' Would they have enough if flocks and herds were slaughtered for them? Would they have had enough if all the fish in the sea were caught for them?" The Lord answered Moses, "Is the Lord's arm too short? You will now see whether or not what I say will come true for you." So here's Moses. God tells him, "I'm going to feed all these people meat." Moses, you know, he's been in the tent of meeting with God. He uh, he talked with God. He was on when he received the Ten Commandments from God. He was hanging out with God so much that his own face began to shine so bright that the Israelites asked him to cover part of his face. Um, he's seen so much, and even at this point, it's almost like, I don't know if it's doubt or if it's like just using reasoning. You know, he said there's 600,000 men like me on foot. Um, that ain't that's not counting the women and the children. 600,000 people. From what I understand, the city of Albuquerque, 600,000 people, men, women, and child. Now, if you were to take the city of Albuquerque and just have it all men, 600,000, then a certain portion of those men would have a wife. A certain portion of those men that have wives would have kids. I mean, potentially 2 to maybe even 2.4 million people, or 3 million maybe, depending how big the families are. And Moses, as much as he knew God, kind of stated the fact, like, how are we gonna, even if we slaughtered every animal we had, would we be able to eat meat for a month, every day for a month? And then the Lord asked this question. Somewhere where it says, "Is the Lord's arm too short? You will now see whether or not what I say will come true for you." So Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He brought together 70 of the elders and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke with him. And he took of the Spirit that was on him and put the Spirit on the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but they did not do so again. However, 2 men whose names were Eldad and Medad had remained in the camp. They were listed among the elders, but they did not go to the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran to and told Moses, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' aide since his youth, spoke up and said, "Moses, my Lord, stop them." But Moses replied, "Are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit on them." Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. Now a wind went out from the Lord and drove quail in from the sea. It brought them down all around the camp to about 3 feet above the ground, as far as a day's walk in any direction. All that day and night and all the next day the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 10 homers. Then they spread them out all around the camp. But while the meat was still between their teeth and before it could be consumed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. Therefore the place was named Kibroth Hatava, because they buried the people who had craved other food. From Kibroth Hatava, and the people traveled to Chezoroth and stayed there. I'm going to try to look into how much time I got. Okay. 34, craved other food. Wow, it doesn't really go into, but I don't have a note on something that will expound on that. Well, the main thing I wanted to note that I noticed is that the people had the food they needed. Then they wailed, cried, "Oh, it'd be better to be slaves and go back and eat whatever, garlic and stuff." Then I noticed where Moses, after God told him that he was going to feed these people meat for a long time, for 30 days or a month, even Moses said, well, how are you going to do that? There's so many of us. There's 600,000 just men. And, probably another times 3 or 4 in women and children. How can, you feed that many people for so long meat? Even if we sacrificed everything that we had in livestock, we couldn't do that. And what's amazing to me is that Moses was the closest, and he knows that God's able. But even at this point, his mind was like, that's this many people. Maybe Moses' mind, because he was always leading the people, and of course he trusted God for them, but he also had to be pragmatic with what was around him. And so he said, well, how are you going to do that? And God says, you think my arm's too short? And then he brings in this quail so much that it's like feet in every direction, so many of them. And then these people who were had like a plague because they buried the people who had craved other food. Craved other food. What is the food? What is the manna to us nowadays? We don't have manna like the Israelites had. I don't go out in the morning, collect manna. Wish I could. I would love to see what it tastes like. And but what is manna now? This is manna, God's word, right? Jesus is the bread from heaven. So craving him is fine, but craving other food, what does other food look like? I don't know. Maybe it's you crave something outside of God's word that feeds you, that feeds your heart. You crave something. I don't know what it could be, guys. It could be maybe even, what do they call it? Self-development, self-improvement, self-help books, maybe. It could be as extreme as, I want to put this in my life over God. And I encourage you, always put God first. And I say that for myself too. Well, that's it, School Light. I try to keep these 10 minutes. We're at 13 minutes now. God bless. If you need any Bible studies, let me know. Ages 4 through adult. And we have a large population of incarcerated students and a large population of homeschool students that are homeschool and like the biblical education as well. So if that's you, if you'd like to have some, let me know. We'll send it your way, as long as you're in the United States, continental United States. Actually, Alaska and Hawaii, and maybe even Puerto Rico, because we do have Spanish ones.